Hey, I'm Eleni Gina, and I just sat on the beach for a hot second and journaled. Dude, like, journaling is so cool. I love my journal prompts. They seriously make that process so simple for me, because I feel like it can be something so tedious. So these are things that I would recommend to somebody who wants to start journaling but feels really overwhelmed, because it can be overwhelming. Like, let's be real, it can be overwhelming. My first thing of advice would be to give yourself a simple question. Just one thing that's really easy to show up and do, so then you can get into the habit. The hardest step is showing up. The hardest step is doing it. So if you have one thing that makes it simple, then just do that. And that might even be just rating your day out of 10. So what I would do if I was starting journaling again from the start without having any motivation to do so, I would get my journal. This is mine. It's just a really simple, I think this is A5, and it's just a lined book. And I would put in the date and then rate my day out of 10, and that would be it. That's it. Get into the habit of showing up. And then every time when you show up and you're like, okay, I've written this day. So say you had a shit day, so you'd put maybe like 5 out of 10. And then write the date. Then what I do afterwards, this is how I sort of started with these two questions, is what filled me with energy today? What drained me of energy today? And then you write them. Depending on if it was a good or bad day, if it was a good day, I would start with the positive thing. Oh no, I would start with a negative thing and then end on the positive thing. No, I take that back. I start on the negative thing most of the time, unless I feel like doing something else, because then I end on the positive, and that's the last thing that I'm thinking about, and that helps positive momentum. And the thing with journaling is, if you feel inspired, keep going. Your aim is to do the bare minimum, but if you feel inspired to, keep going, add more, write whatever feels good in your soul. There is no rules to journaling. That's the thing. This is you understanding your mind, or understanding yourself and being able to look back and see patterns. So for me, I hated journaling to begin with. I hated the idea. I was like, this is so boring. I don't want to do this. This is a waste of time. I feel like I get more pissed off when I was trying back then. But the thing is, you got to figure out what works for you and do that. And if you don't feel good after journaling, that's okay, you know, maybe you have some emotions that you need to process. But if it's continually making your state of mind worse than when you began, maybe take a look at it and think, okay, whatever I'm writing is obviously not benefiting me, and find a way to change that. So first two prompts that I'd start with, once you get comfortable to showing up, or if you just want to start with them, because they're awesome. What drained me of energy today? What filled me with energy? It can be anything as simple as, today, being stuck in traffic drained me of energy. Today, seeing somebody smile at me filled me of energy. And that could be it. Very brief, but if you feel like going into depth, sometimes I write huge paragraphs just because I feel it. Sometimes I write 2 words if I'm absolutely exhausted. And then I make sure it's something like that. Like, today, going to bed at 4 a.m. drained me of energy. That's what I wrote today. And then what did I say filled me? I'll tell you what I wrote today. And just showing up and being able to continually write is what's going to make you feel good. And some days you just won't, and that's okay too. But today I wrote, today making the G major chord progression, and and half the time it doesn't even make sense, and that's okay, because you feel good after. You're making sense of nonsense, and that's okay. So today making a G major chord progression filled me with energy. Today being tired from going to sleep at 4 a.m. drained me of energy. Now, this is where we get fun. I love these next 3 prompts. Normally, and then after that, I'll put one sentence. What am I grateful for today? Today I'm grateful for, and what did I write? Today I'm grateful for beauty and nature, and the beauty in nature, and detaching from validation. There's humans. taking, and then yeah, so that's what I wrote. So the first three drained me of energy, gave me energy, what I'm grateful for, and then I go into my absolute favorite 3 prompts. Actually, I just love all of this, I'm gonna be honest. The next one is advice from my past self. So I think back, this can be 20 minutes ago, this can be 10 years ago, this can be like your earliest memories and moments in your life where you have felt the most connected to yourself, or have felt like, I believe in this this moment, and I hope I believe this in the future. And you give yourself advice from your past self. And it can be anywhere from, like, I've said stuff like stay in the moment, be present. It can be anything, just, or even imagine, I imagine myself as a little girl, and little me was like she had this huge passion where she was like, don't ever change yourself for anybody, for a man, for anybody. Just be authentically you, because what's the point of changing yourself for someone else if you're not going to be able to show up for yourself? And it can be something like that. Then my next prompt is, what advice from my present self? So I sit there, this one's very like, it often has to do with how I feel within my body. Like, I'll sit there and I'll go, okay, my head hurts, and I'll write to myself, advice from my present self, drink some water. Or I'll sit there, and it's usually health based, I found, because it's me being intuitive with my body in this moment. Or if I'm like, I'm really tired right now, okay, why am I tired? I socialize with 3 people when I probably should have only hung out with 1 person max today. So then I write that in. Remember to designate your energy accordingly to how you feel. Like, you shouldn't just be people pleasing and showing up because you feel like you have to. That's not good for, also, side note, that's not good for anybody doing that. If you are showing up to places where you don't really want to be, you're not doing that person a favor who wants you to be there. If you're not going to be present, if you're not going to be happy, if you're not going to be your best version of yourself because you're pushing yourself to be somewhere you don't want to be, that's not helping you, one. That's not helping the other person. Imagine how much better that connection would be if you're showing up authentically and presently. Next, my third prompt, and probably my favorite, is advice from my future self. So this is one, I often have to close my eyes, and my eyes often flutter when I do this because I'm thinking, and I imagine myself in the position that I want to be, say in 10 years. Like, I imagine myself in a penthouse, creating music, being happy, going on tour, and I think about the advice I would give myself from that position, and I write that down. So I go, advice from my future self. A lot of the time for me, it's just make more music, keep making music, be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and be authentic. I don't know, for me personally, there's a lot of similar things that I'm constantly telling myself, but you need to remind yourself of the things that are important to you, because it can be pretty easy to forget, to get jaded by things in life that you don't have control over. And the thing is, you don't have control over it. If you don't have control over something, you have to control yourself. You have to control your mind. That is your responsibility as a human. At least that's what I think. For me, that's my responsibility as a human. And then my new favorite one, I just love all of them, I'm not gonna even lie. My new one that I've literally started today is, what is it? Oh, I feel like for me, or just in general, ways to build a good connection and self-identity, like a positive self-identity, comes from evidence. So the new prompt that I've added is what I'm proud I've done. Like, oh, look at the lighting change. That is, okay, bouncing the light. Okay, is what I'm proud I have done, and therefore what that reflects for me as a person. And today I wrote, I'm proud that I have I have and am taking hip-hop classes because I've always wanted to do that. I'm the type of, and then I write what that means for my personality, what that makes me the type of person. And then I wrote, I'm the type of person who takes initiative with my goals and desires. So then you're creating a positive self-identity because you're creating evidence for the things which you, with your actions, basically. You're creating evidence with your actions and taking the time to be proud of yourself, yeah. And that's sort of my whole spiel. That's how I journal. And the layout is very standard. Geez, I don't even know. It looks like this, and I do them in different colors of the days, just what I'm feeling. It's nothing like, oh, this day is this. You could do that if you wanted. And some days they're a whole page, like today, the red side, and some days they are like 2 lines here and here. That was one of the days. And it's not really about being super anal about it. It's just about showing up and allowing yourself to look back and understand your patterns and understand yourself. Another thing is, when you start journaling, understand why you're doing it personally, what you want to gain from it. So then you don't get jaded by, oh, I have to do this. It's like, no, I do this to gain clarity, to understand my patterns, to take the time to understand myself, and then it makes it easier. But if you got any questions, like, I don't even know, put it in the comments. I always feel weird saying that. If it seems so like inauthentic. What the heck, there's sand on my legs. I feel so weird saying, oh, Jesus Christ, look at the sky, it's glowing. My car's going off. Yeah, I feel weird being like, oh, put in a comment, or that woman is gorgeous. She is beautiful. What was I saying? Yeah, do what you like. And I hope that this helps. I don't really have anything else to say. This seems to be the way that I end my videos. I don't have anything else to say. Bye! But yeah. Okay, bye!